Hey, everyone. Welcome back. It's Anna. And I don't know what brought you here right now, but something tells me you've been replaying certain moments in your mind lately. Moments where someone said one thing, but you felt something completely different underneath. And you can't quite shake it. This message is about what they're feeling but not saying. The silence between the words, the tension you sense but can't name, the truth hiding just beneath the surface, and maybe what you've been holding back to. Let's pause for a moment because this feels important, really important. There's someone in your life right now, and when you think of them, you might notice this subtle tightness in your chest, this quiet restlessness. It can feel like standing at the edge of a conversation that hasn't happened yet, where, there are things left unsaid on both sides. Maybe you've been rereading their messages, looking for something between the lines, or replaying the last time you spoke, searching for what they didn't say out loud. And I feel like you already know the answer. Even if it's hard to admit, some people experience this as a kind of emotional echo, where the silence speaks louder than the words. And you're picking up on it because you're more attuned than you realize. Here's what I'm sensing, and take what resonates. This person, they're carrying something heavy. Something they haven't found the courage to share yet is less than #0. 5# is greater than. It's possible they're protecting themselves. Or maybe they're protecting you. Or maybe they don't even fully understand what they're feeling themselves. But you've noticed, haven't you, the way they hesitate before responding? The shift in their energy when certain topics come up, the moments where their words say I'm fine, but everything else says something different. You're not imagining this. Hold on. Let me slow down for a second. I want you to think about the last time you were together, physically or even just in a conversation. Was there a moment, maybe brief, where you felt them pull back slightly? Not in an obvious way, but in that subtle way where someone's present but not fully there, where their attention drifts, or where the silence between you feels just a little too long. That moment matters because what they're feeling but not saying, it often shows up in these small spaces. The pauses, the avoidance, the careful choice of words. And here's the thing, it's not always about you. Sometimes people carry their own internal struggles, their own fears and doubts, and they don't know how to articulate them without feeling vulnerable or exposed. So what are they feeling? In some situations, it can feel like they're caught between wanting to move closer and needing to protect themselves. There may be a part of them that wants to open up, to let you in completely. But there's also this deep-seated fear is less than #0. 5# is greater than, maybe of rejection, maybe of losing control, maybe of being truly seen. You may notice that when you try to deepen the connection, they respond with surface level conversation, or they deflect, or they suddenly become very busy. This isn't necessarily avoidance of you. It might be avoidance of their own emotions. And I'm not sure why, but this feels important. Some people experience a kind of internal conflict where they care deeply, maybe more than they're comfortable admitting. But expressing that care feels too risky. So they stay quiet. They hold back. They keep things safe. Let's sit with this for a moment, because I feel like there's another layer here. It's possible, And this is just a reflection for you to consider that what they're not saying has to do with their own sense of worth, their own readiness, or their own healing process. Maybe they don't feel like they're in a place to offer what they think you deserve. Or maybe they're still processing something from their past that's affecting how they show up now. You might be sitting at your desk or walking home, and suddenly this wave of clarity hits you, where you realize that their silence isn't a statement about your value. It's a statement about where they are internally. And that distinction matters, because when you understand this, you stop taking their hesitation personally, and you start seeing it for what it is. Their own journey is less than #0. 5 is greater than their own process. Now, here's where it gets interesting. What are you feeling but not saying? Because this isn't just about them. Is it there's something in you too, something you've been holding on to? Maybe because you're waiting for the right moment, or maybe because you're afraid of how it will shift things between you. And that's okay, but it's worth acknowledging. You may notice that you've been overthinking conversations before they happen, rehearsing what you want to say, imagining different outcomes, trying to predict how they'll respond. This reflection invites you to consider what would happen if you released that need for control and simply trusted yourself in the moment. I feel like, and again, take what resonates. There's a part of you that's waiting for permission, waiting for them to go first, waiting for some external sign that it's safe to be honest. But what if that permission can only come from within you? What if the truth you're holding, the feeling you haven't expressed, is asking to be spoken, not because it will change them, but because it will free you? Let me ask you something, and you don't have to answer out loud. Just notice what comes up for you. What would it feel like to say what you really mean? Not in anger, not in desperation, but in calm, grounded honesty. What would shift inside you if you stopped waiting and started expressing? Here's the paradox: is less than #0. 5 is greater than, and it's something many people experience. The more you try to protect yourself by staying silent, the more tension builds. The more you avoid vulnerability, the more distant the connection becomes. And at some point, the weight of what's unsaid becomes heavier than the risk of saying it. You might be feeling that right now. That quiet pressure in your chest, that sense that something needs to be released. And this message is here to remind you that you have the power to choose what happens next, not them. You remain in control of your choices. So what do you do with all of this? First, you trust your inner knowing. You've been sensing something for a reason, and that intuition is worth honoring. You don't need external validation to know what you feel. You already know. Second, you give yourself permission to communicate, not to force a response, not to demand clarity from them, but to honor your own truth. Whether they're ready to meet you there or not, you deserve to express what's real for you. And third, you release the need to control the outcome. You can't make them say what they're feeling. You can't rush their process. And you can't force alignment. But you can show up authentically. And that in itself is powerful. Let's come back to them for a moment, because I feel like there's something else here. It's possible that what they're feeling but not saying is a kind of admiration is less than #0. 5# is greater than or respect or even love, but it's tangled up with fear or uncertainty. Some people experience this as a push-pull dynamic, where they want connection but fear intimacy, where they care but struggle to show it consistently. And if you're sensing that, you're probably right. But here's what you need to remember. Their inability to express their feelings doesn't diminish your worth. And it doesn't mean you should wait indefinitely for them to figure it out. You deserve clarity. And if they can't offer it right now, that's information too. I want to ask you something. And feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever held back from saying something important because you were afraid of the response? What stopped you? And looking back, do you wish you had spoken up sooner? I'd love to hear your experience, because I think so many of us carry this same tension, and there's something healing in recognizing we're not alone in it. Here's another question for you. What do you think they would say if they felt completely safe to be honest with you? Just imagine for a moment, if all the fear and hesitation melted away, what truth do you think would emerge? Drop your thoughts below. I'm genuinely curious. As we move toward the close of this reflection, I want to bring you back to yourself, because ultimately, this isn't just about decoding what someone else is feeling. It's about reclaiming your own voice is less than #0. 5# is greater than your own power, your own clarity. You are not responsible for managing their emotions or making them feel safe enough to open up or fixing whatever internal conflict they're navigating. You are only responsible for your own truth and how you choose to express it. And that's actually incredibly freeing. When you really let it sink in, you don't have to wait for them. You don't have to decode every silence. You can simply be honest and let the rest unfold as it will. So here's my invitation to you. And again, take what resonates. Consider having that conversation, the one you've been avoiding or rehearsing in your mind or waiting for the perfect moment to initiate, not because you need a specific outcome, but because you deserve to be heard. And because the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, creates space for something real to emerge. Whether that's deeper connection or necessary closure, or just relief from the weight of what's been left unsaid. You might feel nervous before you speak, and that's natural. But I have a feeling that once you do, you'll feel lighter, clearer, more aligned with yourself. And that alignment is what matters most. Before we close, I want to ask you one more thing. What's one thing you wish someone would say to you right now? Not what you think you should hear, but what would actually make you feel seen and understood in this moment? Share it in the comments if you feel called to. Is less than #0. 5# is greater than. Sometimes putting it into words is the first step toward receiving it. And also, what emotion are you carrying today that you haven't named yet? I think there's power in simply acknowledging what's present without needing to fix it or explain it away. Just noticing, just being with it. As you move forward from here, I want you to remember something. The silence between you and someone else, it's not always empty. Sometimes it's full of potential, of things waiting to be said. of truth that's still gathering courage, and you have the power to break that silence or to honor it, depending on what feels right for you. Trust yourself. Trust your timing. Trust that whatever unfolds, you can handle it. You're stronger than you think, more intuitive than you give yourself credit for, and more deserving of honest, open communication than you've been allowing yourself to believe. And I hope this reflection reminded you of that. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and know that you remain in control of your choices. Always. Thank you for being here, for trusting this space, and for doing the inner work that brought you to this message. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.